Hello, Funlancer. The PC demo of Monster Hunter Rise releases today, 13th October, and if you have clicked here I can guess you are interested in trying Gunlance for Rise but can't exactly figure it out. This short guide serves to learn how to use the Gunlance in the demo based in the current Switch demo. You can use this guide perfectly for the other demo. I don't recommend this for the final game because in the final game you get extra Switch skills, swappable moves, and armor skills that change everything. The demo Gunlance is basically like playing naked only using the core set of the weapon. This also makes it interesting because it allows you to train the basic skills and sense for the weapon. If you can beat Magnum Alo in the demo, you will be able to beat anything in the final game. To this date the most challenging fight in the whole game is in demo Magnum Alo. So, first hint, don't fight Magnum Alo until you beat the other two monsters in the demo. A good place to practice your moves without risk is using the mounting tutorial. The Arzuro there does minimal damage to you and can't die, so is the perfect training dummy. Just practicing the moves hitting the air is no good because the air can't hit you back. Gunlance movement in the demo is very limited compared with the real game. In the real game you get the Rocket Man move, Blast Dash, and the Evade Extender skill that greatly boosts your hops. If you have to move over a significant distance, it is much better to put away your weapon and yeet yourself with a wirebug. Wirebug economy is the most important thing to master in Rise. Your wirebug used directly impacts your damage and defense both in the demo and in the final game. The thing that makes Gunlance works in the special move Guard Edge. Guard Edge is a perfect defense move. It negates any pushback and chip damage from any attack and allows you to follow up with your heavy hitters. Consider it your parry move. Everything a monster does can be parried and punished in an instant as long as you have bugs. And without bugs you are a sitting duck. Heavy attacks chip away your health. You will be pushed back without being able to act and you will be unable to do anything. Don't waste your bugs. Basically in every area of a map you can find an extra wire bug that will boost your count by 1. It is always worth going out of your way to get it because it is crucial for your survival. You can also use wire bugs to combine movement and attack using aerial attacks. The most important air attack is the air slam. It is fast and makes you land immediately so you don't stay helpless in the air. Doing an air slam is awkward at first. You need before being able to slam to do one air shell to draw your weapon. After that you can keep doing air shells, do an air burst or slam. I recommend you to practice doing the air slam over all other options. The air burst is tied to the charged shell switch skill and keeps you too much time in the air unless you do it just before landing. The air slam is set as fast and upon landing you can decide if to go all the way into the burst or hop to avoid an attack. In Monster Hunter games you can cancel the recovery of most attacks with a hop or roll. This is good to abuse because monsters get a harder time hitting you if you move a lot. I'm talking a lot about moving and evading and nothing about attacking. I usually go through every move of the Gunlance but this time, I'm going to go to the point and show you the 3 main combos of Gunlance that will be useful for the final game. In Rise your basic attacks are the stabs and the shells. They can be used individually but that is an error because they are very weak on their own and combining them is free. There is the poke shell mechanic. Just at any moment after doing a poke you can do a shell. You can time it to even hit the very same moment and your reward is basically adding the damage of your shells to your pokes, that is in most cases duplicating your poke damage output. Poke shelling is still weaker than the other 2 attack options but is very fast and a great way to fill the time between guard edges. As mentioned before, you should try to guard edge everything a monster does but just staring there waiting for the monster to do anything would be wasteful. And you don't even need to worry about spending your shells because you can follow the guard edge with a Wormstake. Move I haven't talked about and is a good moment for. Wormstake Cannon is a special move that comes in 2 versions, fast and slow. The slow version is the default one. You will use it the most after a burst fire, or a sweep move as a combo finisher that is better than doing anything else, especially if you have aim to a weak point. The fast version is the preferred one. There are no disadvantages, the damage is the same. It is done after a guard edge or a charged shell. A charged shell is done by holding the shell button until the weapon glows red. The moment you can release the button for the full effect, there is 0 reason to hold the button until it shoots itself. You can even release the button 1 or 2 frames before it starts glowing but in general it is safer to wait for the glow. The damage of the charged shells is a bit worse than poke shelling unless you are hitting a hard part, so its main use is as a way to use faster Wormstakes. The stakes damage doesn't vary depending on sharpness over orange-like shells but the damage is affected by the hit zones of monsters. You can only shoot the charged shell version in the same direction although you can tilt it up or down, which can be useful against flying monsters. The guard edge version on the other hand can be aimed in any direction you want. This is awesome as a counter since even if the monster goes past you, you can turn around and hit it. Aiming can be a little hard, but there is the trick of rotating the camera towards the point you can nail and then doing just forward and shell button. Wormstake is your highest damage attack and the synergy with guard edge is there. The simplest battle plan for Gunlance is to poke shell constantly until the enemy is going to attack you, then guard edge that attack and counter with a stake, hop, full reload and repeat. Simple. But that will not really optimize your damage, and I haven't talked about the final good attack. Burst fire is done by shelling after a slam, any kind of slam. Plus an aerial version that is cool as heck but seriously not very useful. Burst fire should be only used when you know you can get away with it without being hit. At first, limit yourself to using it on opening when you down a monster where it is clearly safe. On monsters like Magnamalo you can do 2 rotations of the burst combo and finish it with a Wormstake. Another great use is after guard edge as an alternative to using Wormstake. The range is better and you can hit places where Wormstake would miss. There is also the chance you have not a Wormstake loaded, so it is much better doing this than nothing at all, and remember you can still use the stake after the burst. So, let me repeat briefly how Gunlance is played in the demo. First you approach the monster with your palico or a wirebug into the air, doing an air slam or burst. When close to the monster, you use poke shells to do some damage and wait to the monster to initiate their attack, watch for the hints and learn them. Then, you guard edge the attack and toss a Wormstake to it. In case it drops to the ground, use your burst fire 1 or twice, repeating it or finishing with a stake. Gunlance is all about judgment and self-constraint. Since you have an excellent defense in both a big shield and guard edge, usually you take damage only when you get greedy and try to burst fire at the wrong moment. Autopilot your pokes, observe and counter. That is the way. If you want an actual example fight, I'm linking in the description and comments to my first full fight against Magnamalo in the demo months ago. I'm also linking a much deeper guide that goes into every move. It is a bit outdated for the full game but will serve you well for the demo or if you are starting the full game flesh. I will do testing and document the changes in the PC demo from the Switch version and update stuff according to the changes. And of course, any question you have about Gunlance, for any game, I will gladly answer you in the comments or in Twitter. Have a blast.